Hi everyone, I lived in San Francisco for a little over a year. Here's a list of things I recommend you not do on your next trip to SF. Number 1, and this is a big one, never leave your valuables in the car. My friend from Europe came to visit, and on her second day in the city, her car was broken into. Her passport, wallet, and all of her clothes were stolen. I've seen thieves break into cars just to check if there's anything valuable inside. It can happen in the blink of an eye and almost anywhere in the city. To stay safe, keep your belongings either in your hotel or with you at all times. Never leave anything in your car. Next up, don't forget a light coat or jacket in the summer. It gets really cold here. I'm stubborn and I don't get cold easily, but wow does it get chilly here. The microclimates are a very real phenomenon. You can be basking in the sun in one part or freezing in another part. If you decide to go anywhere, please remember to carry at least a long sleeve because the climate can change quite quickly here and the weatherman's guess is just as good as anyone else's. Number 3, don't board the cable car at one of the main turnarounds or boarding points. I have stood in line for over an hour to board the cable car just for someone else to board the same cable car a short distance away. These stops don't have a ticket counter though, so you may have to get one ahead of time, but you can very easily skip the long lines if you just walk a little bit further up and board at the next stop. Number 4, don't expect to find great parking in the city. Parking is abysmal here. It's almost like the city is trying its hardest to ignore the issue or push people more towards using public transportation. I remember my brother coming to visit. He found what he thought was a very good spot, but like so many visitors that come here, that good spot was actually a no parking zone, and he paid a high $120 ticket. We were only briefly in the store, but if there's one thing you can actually count on from the city government here, it's that they will fine you for parking. Number 5, don't skip a ferry ride to Sausalito or a catamaran cruise across the bay. Taking a ferry ride to either Sausalito, Tiburon, or Alcatraz are all well worth the adventure and generally cost a little under $30 round trip. However, my favorite way to soak in the bay would be a catamaran cruise. I chose Adventure Cat, they start around $80 and the cruise is extremely fun with lots of beautiful sights to soak in. Number 6, don't venture into the Tenderloin. This is actually the neighborhood I lived in for over a year. It was the only place I could afford a studio apartment or live by myself. The living conditions here are abysmal and I hated almost every minute of it. The sidewalks are gross and in disrepair, there's trash everywhere, random people screaming in the middle of the night, not to mention all the drug overdoses I had to step over on my front porch. If you want to do a quick walkthrough, then be my guest, but I'll never be back here. Number 7, don't forget to look down. Speaking of sidewalks, you might notice a few dog droppings, or maybe they're humans. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Just remember to look down every now and then and watch your step. Number 8, don't drive to Muir Woods. Instead, take a bus. If you're going to Muir Woods, don't drive there. Instead, take the shuttle from either Sausalito or Larkspur Ferry Terminal. Parking is almost always full at Muir Woods, and it saves you the stress and cost of a rental car or rideshare. Number 9, don't use Uber or Lyft. The public transportation here is actually pretty good. Now, while I have used Uber many times for the convenience, you can still get a decent trip out of public transportation here. If you are thinking of taking public transportation, be sure to get a Clipper card. It will save you quite a bit of money. Apps like Transit or Mooney Mobile for the buses are also really good. Number 10, don't be surprised if you see shoplifting. My old job was right next to a Walgreens and a few other convenience stores. I typically take a break for a Red Bull, and let me tell you, the shoplifting epidemic here is real. The amount of theft and locked up merchandise here is quite staggering. We experienced a ton of theft at the store I worked at on Market Street. Eventually we shut down, but I'm not sure if it was due to theft or not. Who knows? That's everything. If I missed something, feel free to put it in the comments. As always, stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.